Are you dickmatized? Has the dick caught you slipping? Are you obsessed with him? In love with him? Can't get enough of him? Do you feel stuck because the dick is so good? Well, have I got news for you? Do you know how many times I have heard this phrase? Oh, I'm so dickmatized. I don't know what to do, babe. Oh my God. How do I get out of this? Someone actually messaged me the other day saying, I have a higher libido, but I definitely understand that my sexuality is not an excuse to tolerate mistreatment in the name of overindulgence under hookup culture. The person who messaged me that absolutely ate. Well done for the self-awareness that it takes to say that. Because when we revisit this, I have a higher libido. So she acknowledges that she has a higher libido. But she understands from what she said in her message that her sexuality is not an excuse to tolerate mistreatment in the name of overindulgence under hookup culture. Sorry, whoever she is, I'm not going to say her name because we prioritize anonymity over here. But round of applause to her for the self-awareness, because this is so nuanced, especially in this conversation of being dickmatized. I have spoken in the past about me being grey asexual. And that is a sexual orientation that essentially is defined as the grey bit will help in a minute. But asexual, for the most part, most of us know asexual as you don't have any romantic attraction towards anyone. You don't have any sexual attraction towards anyone. You're just chilling, minding your business. You don't like anything, really. Like, you like other things, but you don't really care for sex. You don't care to be romantically involved with anyone. You're fine without being sexually involved with people. But when we add grey to the front of asexual, you get grey asexual. And that's how I describe myself. Which essentially is, yeah, I have romantic attraction towards people. Yeah, I have sexual attraction towards people, but I can also go the next 10 years of my life without sleeping with anyone. Not because I hate sex or I've only had unenjoyable sex. No. I've had very, very enjoyable sex in my life, but for me, I see sex as a tool to get what I want. I also see sex as a rewards based activity when it's involving men. So what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is I know what sex does for men. They're desperate for it. That's why they pay for it. And because I know men will pay for it, I believe I should be paid. You can call it whatever you want to call it. My mates are not fucking for free. So neither will I. Yes. Come and beat me. Come and beat me, bruv. I dare you to come and beat me. And when I say my mates are not fucking for free, I think what people imagine in their head when we discuss sex and money is this like mechanical transaction of, hello, lady with the big bouncy tits. I would like to purchase 1 hour and 15 minutes of sex from you. How much is that going to cost, big busty lady? Oh, that's going to cost you £10 per minute. So I'm going to give you a discount and you can only pay me £1,500 instead. I'm going to start the timer on my phone now. Now you get to fuck me for 1 hour and 15 minutes. Oh, look at that. The clock has now reached 1 hour and 15 minutes. You may now put your trousers back on. The end. If you would like to purchase another session, you're welcome to email. Like, people think it's that. It's like, no, I just want to be appreciated for my time. My time is valuable. My pussy is valuable. The value is an arbitrary figure that I decide it's going to be there and then. Yes, today's price is not today's price. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. But what I'm trying to say here is men pay for what's valuable to them. They're paying for Football Manager game on PlayStation. Yes. They're paying for Bet 365. They're paying for what did men even buy with their money? Honestly, what the fuck did men use their money for? I have no idea. But yeah, they're paying for Jake Paul Prime Energy drink. Is that a thing? Whatever they're paying for, they're paying money for it because it's valuable to them. So my time is valuable. And I like receiving money from people who want to spend time with me when those people are men. There are men who understand that and don't have a problem with it, and they give me money for my time. Do you know, I have now reached a stage in my adult life where men actually now pay me to take me on dates. This isn't something that I've spoken about yet. I'm probably not going to talk about it in length on my main podcast. I'll probably only talk about it on the Patreon because this is the kind of thing that gets sensationalized. But I'm not saying everyone should do this. I'm only doing this because that's what's going to make it worth it for me. Because you know what it is, right? I'm a beautiful woman. And I know that it's such a compliment for a man to be seen sat across me on a table. And people are looking and thinking, is that his girl? Oh my goodness. Because for a man, the woman he's seen with, that gives him clout, you know. It's not even about celebrity status. I mean, the clout of, oh, you must have things going really well for you as a man if a woman as beautiful as that is on your shoulder, or on your arm, I should say. Or if they assume that that woman is his girlfriend and they see how good that woman looks, that makes him look better. Anyway, there's been times when I've gone on dates with a man and I've been paid and I actually had a good time. Didn't sleep with him, just spent time with him, and he brought a gift. And it's because I decided my time is valuable. I've decided that if a man's going to be occupying space in my life, this needs to be benefiting me now. I'm not with the silly games anymore because you know what happens when you play silly games? You win silly fucking prizes. And I'm tired of the silly prizes. I don't want no more clutter or junk in my house. Thank you. So on the topic of being dickmatized, I need to understand, how do you even get there? Let me tell you how you get there, because it always starts with this whole, yeah, friends with benefits. Yeah, we're just gonna fuck and it's gonna be nothing other than sex. Mm. I'm not looking for anything serious right now. I just want a man who's just gonna like give me some dick and then go. Really? Okay. He now delivers said dick. Wow, his dick is so good. Oh my god. I feel like I'm starting to fall in love with him, but I need to stay strong and not get confused. Okay. Next thing you know, I'm so dickmatized. I'm so confused. Oh my god, like I feel like I'm getting attached. Really? Surprise, surprise. Did not see that one coming. Shock, fucking horror. Do you know why you're getting attached? Do you know why that's happening? Should we make some notes on the whiteboard as to why you might be getting attached? I do believe in the science aspect of this, right? And you might not expect that to come from someone like me. But I do believe that there is an energetic exchange that happens when you have sex with someone. And no, I don't believe in soul ties because that only somehow, surprise, surprise, applies to women. Apparently only women experience soul ties, but men don't. But yeah. I don't believe in soul ties. What I believe in is the production of the oxytocin hormone when you're having sex with someone as a woman. And when he's made you feel good, you start to see him more in the light of being an eligible partner for you, i.e., you start falling in love with him. Why would you put yourself in that position? Do you know what that reminds me of, right? You know how when you're like in the early stage of dating a guy and you don't want to sleep with him just yet, but you know you're attracted to him and you can detect there's mutual attraction here, but it's still early days and you don't want to sleep with him, what do you normally do? You normally avoid going to his house because you know that you're more likely to be tempted to sleep with him. So you only meet in public places or you only move at a pace that is considerably slow so that you can focus on getting to know each other And so you can spend more time exploring this new found fondness that you're developing for him. It allows you to have more self control when you don't go to his house so early on. This reminds me of that thing women do when they have a fallout with their boyfriend and they're going to have that closure conversation at his house. Why did you shave? Why did you shave your pussy before going to have a closure conversation? Why does your pussy need to be shaved for you to have a conversation? Hmm? Because you know that by you going to your ex-boyfriend's house, who you still have mutual attraction with, you're putting yourself in a position where you're more likely to be tempted to sleep with him. So on the off chance you whoopsie daisy decide to take your knickers off, your pussy is primed and ready for a pounding because you deep down wanted that to happen. So where I'm going with this is this whole I'm dickmatized thing. I feel like if you're dickmatized for the wrong man, you have a huge role to play in this that you need to acknowledge. I refuse to hear any excuses. Why are you putting yourself in a position where you're more likely to face temptation? Because look, I'm not speaking from a place of being morally or physically superior when it comes to my own urges. This is why I don't date broke men, so that I won't feel tempted to sleep with a man who is attractive but can't do anything for me. When you put certain measures and standards in place and you rigidly follow them, you don't make any exceptions, that protects you from being dickmatized by the wrong man. Yes, I only want to be dickmatized by the man who is meant for me. And the man who is meant for me is making sure that I'm financially set good for the rest of my life. I would happily be dickmatized by a man who is lining me up for the most incredible, stable, protected future. Absolutely. Let's fucking go. Ding, ding, ding. But when it comes to this whole idea of letting men just have your attention and have access to your body like that, and then you fall for it, you're talking about some dickmatized. Girl, stand up. Girl, fight back. I'm going to read another message that I got based on this topic. So someone said to me, I am not asexual or grey asexual, but like you've said before, it's about self-control if you have a strong desire for something that could be detrimental to your well-being. I love chocolate and I could eat it all day long if I let myself. But I'd also end up feeling sick and bloated if I didn't eat mindfully. You can enjoy sex and have a high sex drive as a woman, but you can also be aware of men's desperation for sex and use it to make sure you don't get played, and by making sure you get the most out of your sexual encounters, not just orgasms. As a former people-pleasing good girl who got married way too young, who is now in my late 30s, I love that you are helping girls and women make these realizations much earlier than I did. Keep up the good work. You're changing lives. I appreciate that at the end of the message. But this is such an interesting thing because this really helps drive home my point. And I'm glad someone else said it, because when I say it, it's a problem, innit? People are like, oh, but you're asexual. You can say that. No, just have some self-control. You don't have to be asexual to have self-control. I repeat, you don't have to be asexual to have sexual self-control. You just need to pack it in and control yourself as a woman. Just because you like chocolate doesn't mean you should eat 3 bars of chocolate in one sitting just because you can and because you like it. There has to be a level of self-control. There has to be a level of managing your urges. There has to be a level of controlling your impulse. So just because you like having sex doesn't mean you should just do it because you like it, and therefore you're going to allow just anyone to be inside your body. Because remember, when you're having sex, it's not just you. Even if the guy is just eating you out and he's not putting his dick inside you, he's still getting something out of that experience. Do you know that? Do you know that? And this is coming from somebody who's an actual dominatrix. Like, there's been times, yeah, when I've engaged consensually with a grown adult man in a dungeon. And one time there was this guy, and I tied him, tied his hands and legs to. He was lying on his back on this sort of like table, but it's like a kink table. So it's got all these straps and things that you can tie things to. He was lying on his back consensually. I tied, well, I buckle tied his hands to his side, buckle tied his legs in place so he couldn't move. But of course, this was all consensual. He couldn't move. And I knew that I could do whatever I wanted to him within reason of consent, of course. Anyway, I knew I could do whatever I wanted to him. So I'm a tease and denial girly. I really love the idea of teasing men and then not letting them do anything about their boner. It is the sadistic queen in me. I just get something out of it. Especially because I don't care about having sex with men, even if they're attractive. I like the idea of a man wanting to have sex with me and not being able to have that sex, but I sort of like do things to tease the idea of it more. So anyway, you might be wondering, well, what happened to this guy who you tied to the table? So he's tied to the table, and I very slowly walked towards him, and I told him he has to close his eyes. He's not allowed to have his eyes open because he's not allowed to see the view of what's about to happen next. So climbed on top of him, and because his eyes were shut and his hands were tied, for him, when I think about his perspective and what that experience would have been perceived like for him with his eyes shut, it's a lot more intense because all he can hear is clickety clack of my high heels. And then I climb on top of him and I just put my full weight on him and sat on him, and there was no sort of like, oh, I'm going to be dry humping him. No, just the weight of my body was enough. So after I felt that he was developing a hard on, that's when I got off. And then I went on to just like leave him there on the table, and I was taking selfies while he was in the background. And in that moment, I felt powerful because it's like, nah, 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 nah. I'm going to give you a hard on and you can't do anything about it. Nah, 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 nah. What are you going to do? What you are going to do is go home and have a wank about me later. That's what you're going to do. But I didn't feel the need to do anything further with him because I don't see men in that way. I think I've stopped seeing men in the way most people see men. You know, you lot are still here giving men grace, giving them a chance, hoping this will be the one. Guys, if you was to really deep the reality of what men are and how they see you, you will know that men don't deserve orgasms. What they deserve at most, if you're feeling generous, if you're feeling generous at most, tease and denial. Do not allow him to not. Don't do that to yourself. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. You should be making men earn orgasms because they're not very good people. So I don't know how people are getting to the stage of being dickmatized. That is crazy to me. I don't know how I can't even imagine myself getting there anymore. Like as an adult woman who now knows myself well enough to know what I'm capable of getting myself into. Dickmatized? Nah. I can really, really enjoy sleeping with a man. Like in the future, there will come a time again when I'll sleep with a man. Lord knows when that's going to be because I don't think that they deserve it. Maybe just like one stroke and then just take it out. And then they have to work for the next two strokes. Who knows? I'm very sadistic like that. But ultimately, the point I'm making is I don't know how people get to a stage of just letting men dickmatize them when you need to be the one that's in control of this. You need to regulate this yourself. Like, you need to know where to stop And it's always ironic how women get dickmatized for the wrong man. You know that saying of like, oh yeah, it's always the unemployed man who's got good dick. Yes, because what else is he doing with his time other than sleeping with women and sleeping on their couch afterwards? What else are they doing? They're not doing anything else. So of course they're going to be able to finger blast you and impress you with the ability to make you squirt in 5 seconds. You need to want more for your life though. Because if you know how to make yourself squirt, it's not a big deal if a man can make you squirt. You need to, I want my bank account to squirt. Make my bank account squirt. Let me see. Take that challenge on as a man. Can you do that? Can you? No? That's exactly what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. So shut the fuck up then. Don't want to hear pim from you. A man cannot bamboozle me no more, you know? And I'm not saying this to be self-righteous or I think I'm more elevated and vibrating higher. No, I mean, you can't trick me with sex. I don't value sex in the way men value sex. I don't fall to the whims of my sexual urges. If I'm feeling horny towards a man, I'm going to need to be motivated by that horniness to asking for some money because that's the only thing that's going to make me wet. Like, if you're going to send me money, then I'm probably going to do something about that horniness. Like, if a man is genuinely, like, I don't know what you call that. Is there a word? Is it called financial fetish? I have a financial fetish. You see how people have a foot fetish and they like the sight of feet and they find feet beautiful and erotic? Or people who have a fetish for people who have brunette hair. It's okay for people to have foot fetish in it. Oh, it's okay for people to have brunette hair fetish in it. Yeah. It's okay for people to have fetish for people who wear eyeglasses in it. Yeah. But suddenly, when a woman has a financial fetish, we have an issue with that. Representation is needed for the women who have financial fetish. Okay. I own my truth. Yes, I have a financial fetish. Yes, my pussy does tingle when a man sends me money. Yes. Yes. And I own that. You cannot shame me out of my desires. I embrace myself for having a financial fetish. You will not shame me out of what I love. So for me to get dickmatized by a man, I need to be money-matized first. Like, for me, the money comes first. Because I mean it, I'm not being sarcastic. Like, anytime a man sends me money, I do feel um an arousal that I imagine the girls feel when a guy, I don't know, like how do guys even get you guys to this stage of dickmatized? Like, what are they saying to you lot that's making you want to fuck them? Because I'm so far out of that kind of game now where I'm trying to understand, like, what can a man say to me to make me want to sleep with him? Because it's like, if I ask you for money and you don't give me the money, I'm now turned off. I don't see you in that way anymore. I don't see you as a potential sexual partner. I see you as a liability and a waste of time and a danger to my well-being. So, really and truly, what's everyone talking about? What's everyone talking about with all this uh, mm, mm, yeah, I'm dickmatized. I don't even want to hear that word. It's irritating me. I don't want to hear that word. That's a bad word. Bleep it out. Talking about some, yeah, he's my fuck buddy. He's your what? How old are you? The grace period is 25. If you're 25 and below, I'm going to pretend like I didn't hear that if you say you got a fuck buddy and a dickmatized because you're still young and 25 is the cutoff point for the development of the prefrontal lobe. If you're past 25 and you're still doing dickmatized by fuck buddy, I'm disappointed. I'm irritated. I don't even want to hear it. La 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 la. I don't want to hear it. Don't come to me with none of your issues. La la la. You did it to yourself. You did it to as anybody who is over 25 and is a woman. You should only be meddling with men who are making your life better. Cause I'm not against sleeping with men. You know, I'm really not against it at all. I don't believe in this whole idea of like I'm only gonna sleep with my husband. No, because I don't even know if I'm gonna be married. I don't think I want to be married. You know. Because if you catch me being married, best believe I've married for the life I want. But I'm not against having sex. For me, if you see me posted up with a man and it's giving the impression that he's my boyfriend, just know that I'm being taken care of in all the ways I want to be taken care of. Because once I feel taken care of, then that's when the pussy portal opens. The pussy portal does not open if you give me compliments. I know I'm beautiful. If you tell me that I've got nice big tits, I agree with you, but that's not going to make me horny. I know I've got nice big tits. I grew them myself, so I would know. If you tell me, oh, I love the way you pole dance, you're supposed to love the way I pole dance. I've put 2 years into learning how to do this. So you should love it because I love it and I've worked really hard on my dancing skills. That's not going to get me horny though. If you tell me, oh, I've not met anybody like you before, you're so unique and different, that's not going to get me horny. You know why? Because I am unique and different. You're stating facts just like how you're stating that the sky happens to be blue. Do you know why the sky is blue? Because of the ozone layer. I don't care that you think I'm unique and different. You're supposed to think I'm unique and different because I am unique and different. Unfortunately, it's not wet. Try again. Oh, I really like the way that you're smart. And you know what? Some men might not agree with your podcast, but I agree with everything you say. You know, you're right. You're right. Really? You should agree. You should agree. But unfortunately, I'm still not wet. Still not wet. So, what's it going to take for me to get wet? Well, you're going to have to show me how beautiful you think I am. And I accept compliments in pounds, euros, and dollars, but they all need to match the rate of the pound. I'm not doing none of you lot's crazy inflated conversion rates. Conversion rated to the value of pound. £500 for $500 for €500. Okay, match it in whatever frequency you're sending it to me in. Thank you. I also accept Bitcoin and Ethereum. Maybe some Cardano if you're feeling nasty. But yeah, I'm not one to be played with. I'm not one of your silly friends. I'm not one of those girls who you can come and tell me you like my breast and I'm going to show you. I don't care that you like it. You're supposed to like it. You're a straight man. Of course you're going to like it. And you know what? You're going to say that to the next 5 girls who also have the same type of tits. It's not personal when a man compliments you. It's not personal when a man has a hard on for you. A man could be blindfolded, okay, and tied to a lamppost. And literally any woman could just grind her ass on him and he would get a hard on. He wouldn't even need to know what she looks like. He just needs to feel the warmth and weight and roundness of her ass and he will get hard. So what does that tell you about men? It tells you that their attraction to you is not about you. It's not about you. It's about the blood rushing to their dick. And most times they don't have control over what they find attractive. And that's not to imply that men don't have control over how they behave when they have sexual urges. No, I'm saying that there are men who find certain things attractive in a woman. And that's why a lot of men have shame towards what they're attracted to because they didn't choose to be attracted to that. For example, there are men who have a foot fetish and some of those men have shame towards having a foot fetish. There are men who find fat women attractive. I can't believe people have shame towards finding fat women attractive. I think fat women are stunning, but there are people who have shame towards finding fat women attractive because of how society views fat people. But they can't help their attraction to fat women because they didn't choose to be attracted to fat women. It just happens to be that they have an ambiguous attraction to fat women that they can't identify why. They just know that they're attracted. So if a fat woman wants to grind on their dick, they're going to get hard on. So I'm saying all this to say, a man plowing dick inside you is not a compliment. It's not a signifier of your worth. It is not a validator of your self-esteem. It's a man having a hard on. And I need you to want more for yourself because I think a lot of women, part of being dickmatized is, oh, no one's ever been this attracted to me before. I'm attracted to the idea of him being attracted to me and what that means for my self-esteem. You've got to be really careful with that. You've got to be super vigilant with that because men can take advantage of your desire to be validated and they will use it to their benefit. They will not spare you in any way that you think they will. You think that, oh, he's gonna consider the fact that your dad left when you were 5 and you got some sort of daddy issues, and he should be really considerate of that and not trigger you. Really? Okay. Have I got news for you, girl? Oh God. That's why you gotta be careful. If you're in a sexual relationship with a man and there's not been any definition of what your relationship is, you have to be extra, extra careful about the personal things you're sharing about yourself, because when you're having sex with someone, you're a lot more vulnerable and open. And if you're being a lot more vulnerable and open, you are at more risk of that man essentially betraying you and using your insecurities against you, because he knows that now that you're in a sexually involved relationship with him, you're more susceptible to be hurt by his words. And he can see that your attachment to him is forming because you're dickmatized, whatever that even fucking means. Why isn't that man pussymatized enough to pay your bills? Because if he likes you, he's going to make your life easier. I know people don't want to hear that. People don't want to believe that if a man actually likes you, like he says he does, he will make sure you're not lifting a finger. Because they don't think it's possible for them. Until it happens, and then you're like, oh, this time I was letting men touch me. Oh my God. And I was thinking that they loved me because they told me they loved me. You think a man loves you because he says he loves you? No. No, girl. If a man loves you, he's going to make sure you have an easier life than he found you in. And that will look different for everyone. So I would urge you to think about that a lot more for the next time you're going to find yourself in a stupid, rubbish, nonsense situationship. I hate that word. I hate that stupid word. Dickmatized in a situationship. You are 32 years old. You're a 32-year-old woman. And that's not age shaming. It's to point to the reality that you've had enough time to figure this out. There is no way at 32 years old you're still relying on the validation of a man who is sexually involved with you. You've got to rise far above that now. You don't have that kind of time. And I'm not even talking about time in terms of fertility. I'm talking about time just in terms of, you don't even know how long you got on this earth, babe. And you're given 5 years, because I've heard people say they're in a situationship for 5 years. 5 years of what exactly? 5 years of not knowing where you stand. Baby, I wouldn't even give something 5 months. You should see me in action. Even 5 weeks is a long time. Girl. All I need is to have a funny feeling. And by funny feeling, I mean all I need is to feel like this guy has gotten a little complacent. And I don't like that. I'm going to have to hit the brake real hard on this for a hot minute, because I've obviously given him the impression that he can get carried away. I take partial responsibility for your complacency. Don't worry, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. You're getting carried away and complacent because I've been too free with you. I let you press my breast 2 days ago, and now you think I'm your mate. I'm not your mate, so I'm gonna have to reel it all in. Yeah? Let's wrap it up. And you're gonna have to learn the hard way that I'm not your mate. And that's not how we do things around here. Yeah? So as a result of that, we're going to put the fucking on pause indefinitely, because I've obviously given you too much access, and that's not going to run. That's me literally a couple weeks into feeling funny. I'm not giving something 5 years. I don't know how people get to 5 years. How do you get to 5 years of a situationship? That's poor boundaries, a lack of self-esteem, and the fear of being alone. That's what that sandwich is. with some gherkin because I like gherkin. No, but seriously though, like, this is not that complicated. I think sometimes we overcomplicate things to run away from the simple solution, because if we were to confront the simplicity of what we're doing, it will be deeply embarrassing and shame triggering to acknowledge that what you did was goofy. And that's why we need to eliminate shame from this conversation. It's not about shame. Shame is not a productive emotion. And I say this as somebody who is prone to shaming myself. I try to convert the feeling of shame into, I don't like how this feels. I'm going to do something about it right now to get my power back, whatever that looks like. And I'm going to promise to not be in this type of situation again. The other day that happened, actually, there was a guy who I was talking to. He's a potential sub of mine. And there was something that he wanted to do for me. Either I asked him to do something or there was something he wanted to do for me. And I started to discuss it more with him. I think I sent him a voice note and he didn't express any excitement about it. He just kind of, in his response, which was like a day later, he was talking about something else. I think he was inviting me to come to some sort of kink event with him. And I just completely flipped my energy. And I expressed to him that actually I've changed my mind. I won't be sharing my time with a man who does not acknowledge the honor of having this kind of closeness to me. So I've changed my mind. Like, it's okay to change your mind, guys. Did you know that? Do you know you can change your mind? And I don't care if someone sees that as me being crazy. It's not crazy. You made a decision based on the perception that that person was going to value the access you gave. So you gave that access and you noticed that it wasn't respected or received in the way that you would have hoped. So what do? You revoke the access. You changed your mind. It's okay to change your mind. You don't have to stick through with a decision just because you made it at a time when you had a different set of information, and upon receiving more information it doesn't feel good, but you don't want to come across petty or too needy or too argumentative, so you just stick through with it anyway. You're only spiting yourself. Me, I don't give a fuck. I've got a Gemini moon, and one thing about Geminis, we will change our mind. I embrace that side of Gemini. I know Geminis get a lot of hate for understandable reasons because we can be annoying. But one thing I love about having a Gemini placement is I really do be changing my mind. And because it's a moon placement that I have my Gemini in, it means that when I feel emotionally uncomfortable about something, it makes me want to change my mind. I'm like, complete 180. I'm like, actually, you know what? I changed my mind. Don't want to do it anymore. And because it's a man who is a sub, I don't owe him no explanation. I don't owe him all this lengthy backstory into why I made a decision. No, I changed my mind. I observed that you didn't honour the opportunity I presented, so I've changed my mind. That's it. Next. It's important to practice that as a woman. For a lot of people who end up in these dickmatized, dick situationship situations, you've not practiced enough of verbalizing that you've changed your mind and walking away and standing firm in that decision. You've not practiced enough of walking away. You've not practiced enough of recognizing that, you know what, this isn't working for me anymore and I don't like it. I'm going to just leave this where it is and move on to something else. You don't practice enough of that. You'll be waiting for the man to decide for you, to think for you. You'll be hoping that he will assign you the worth you think you have. Men are never going to give you what you're worth if you don't demand it. They will always lowball you. And it's not necessarily coming from an evil place when they do it. They are always going to see what they can get. And if you give, they'll keep taking. That's what they're going to do. You think, oh, a man's going to be... Because you're a nice person, a man's automatically going to be a nice person too. That's not how none of this works, babe. I'm so sorry to break it to you. Niceness does not get rewarded because women are already expected to be nice and men see it as stupidity that they can take advantage of. They might not call you stupid. They might not even think that you're stupid, but it is a weakness to them. And that weakness is coded as stupidity. They think they can get over on you. And that's how you end up in a 5-year bender of nothingness while still giving him pussy, access to pussy. I know there's this whole idea of like sex is not given, it's something you participate in, which I agree with, but you're giving access. You're giving him a sense of self esteem at your expense. His self esteem is coming at the expense of your self esteem through the sexual exchange of you letting him hit in your situationship that has no boundaries whatsoever. Hmm? And you're wondering why the retinol is not working. Anyway, I'm going to leave this dragging here because I think I've said all I needed to say on this matter. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I definitely enjoyed it. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.